There it is. There she is. There she is, Joanna, the rarest bird in the world.
Joanna.
That bird's going to make me rich. Filthy rich.
You definitely have seen that movie more recently.
Not even recently.
Wow.
This is so good.
It's a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of my favorites as a kid. I don't think I've ever owned it since it was on VHS.
Oh, I've got it on DVD. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, I'm never letting it go. That's on the list of things I'll save if my house burns down. Right after my children's birth certificates. Yeah, man.
You didn't even save your kids. You just saved the birth certificates.
I gotta go get them. Oh, no.
I saved the birth certificates and Rescuers Down Under DVD. Yeah. I forgot the kids.
There he is, Joanna, the saddest man in the world. At least he's got his movies. The subtitle is, "What a Sad Loser." How was your weekend, Dustin?
It was good. I have no memory of it. So,
no?
Sure. What did I do this weekend?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Not a lot. Just chilled. Didn't really do much, but it's all good. I know. So on Saturday, we watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender.
All right.
Yeah, that's all. So yeah, what I did, I was excited to watch this film, which we'll talk about in a minute. But so I had my parents watch my son so that my wife and I could watch it like without having to pause it, and it was great. Like it was I'm glad we made that decision because we both enjoyed, just the time to sit and do that. So yeah, man.
Well, hell, let's just review the movie.
Oh, okay.
I guess sure.
Let's jump in there.
Yeah.
I'm the last Airbender.
You may be the last Airbender, but you're not alone.
I'm the Avatar. I found allies from every nation, and together we ended the 100-Year War.
Aang, because of you, all of the nations live together in peace and harmony.
All except mine. An airbender.
My senses tell me this guy is pretty attractive.
What does attractive even mean?
Just give me a straight confirmation. Is he attractive?
He's very attractive. Huh? What? He is. It's all in the bone structure.
Aang, you and I can heal the past.
Yes!
And together, we can build a new world.
Welcome to Team Avatar.
How many countless were killed in the 100 years waiting for his return? If we want anything to change, we need what the Benders have. Power.
This isn't the way! We can bring back balance! Peace! I promise you I'll fix it.
We'll fix it. Together.
Cool. Yeah. So the backstory, Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender is the name of this film. It is a continuation of the series Avatar: The Last Airbender, which originally aired on Nickelodeon. The directors of the film, Steve Ahn, William Mata, and Lauren Montgomery, most notably Lauren Montgomery. The writers, Tim Hedrick, Christopher Yost, and Brian Konietzko. These are I think all of these names are from the original series. So they brought back a bunch of folks from the original series to help usher this new film version in. So for those who are uninitiated, and this is not a review of the original series, but I will say if you have yet to see it, please go see it. It is streaming, I believe, on Paramount Plus, and it's also streaming on Netflix, I believe. So you can check it out on either of those places, or just go buy the Blu-ray. You won't regret it. So the series is about a boy, a 12-year-old boy named Aang, and Aang is the titular Last Airbender and also the titular Avatar. The Avatar lives in a world where some folks are able to bend one of the 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water, and some are not able to bend anything. And the Avatar is the only person who can bend all 4 elements. At the end of the Avatar's life, the Avatar dies and is reincarnated, and there is a new Avatar chosen. And so that Avatar, essentially there's one Avatar for each generation. And so the series follows Aang, the current Avatar, as he finds out that his people, the Airbenders, have been completely annihilated in his absence, and he was frozen in ice. And when he wakes up, his people are have been annihilated, and he realizes that he's been asleep for 100 years, and in that time, a great war has happened, and the Fire Nation is on the precipice of conquering all the nations. And so it's his job as the Avatar to stop that from happening. But he's just a 12-year-old boy. What's a boy to do? And so that's the premise of the original series. And so this takes place a number of years after the series wraps. And so our heroes are no longer tweens and teens, but they are late 20s, mid to late 20s. And so this is supposedly a more mature version of these characters, although I think in many ways a lot of the characterization remains the same, which is great. The plot of this one is Aang may not, in fact, be the last Airbender, as he encounters a new Airbender, Taga, voiced by Dave Bautista, and he is not the last Airbender anymore. And
I was going to make fun of that name until you said it was voiced by Dave Bautista. I was like, never mind, sir.
Never mind, it's fine. He has a whole slew of questions for Taga and wants to figure out kind of what to do. And now that he's not the last Airbender anymore, and that's as far as I want to get into the plot of this. Although I think from the marketing, it's not hard to figure out what happens pretty much entirely in the film. So this film has had a long journey, right? So the series itself, I think, wrapped in 2011 or something. It was a long time ago. Let's figure this out.
Tell me about it. Some people started podcasts that year.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I was wrong. It actually ended in 2008. So the series ended in 2008.
Wow.
And it ran for 3 seasons. And so it's been since then that we've had a chance to, see these characters. However, as many of our viewers may note, there is also a sequel series called The Legend of Korra, which focuses on the next Avatar after Aang's death. And there are a few flashbacks and a few moments where we encounter elderly versions of some of these characters. So we haven't not seen these characters, but this is the first time we're seeing them as young people again. And so, the film's had, like I said, a long journey to get here. It was announced several years back as part of a new initiative that Nickelodeon Paramount started called Avatar Studios, where they tasked the original creators, Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino, to bring back this world in some way. It had proven, like, I think during COVID, people just binged it like crazy.
Sure.
And so it had huge viewership, and like all the like merch was like selling out, like t-shirts and purses and things, and so action figures. And so I think, the studios saw money to be made, and so they asked them to create Avatar Studios. Avatar Studios created a few things. They announced a few things, but the things that they've actually created are a new, I think 2 new video games. One just released this week, and then they've created a new series and this film. And so this film is kind of the return to form. It's, let's bring these characters and love back. However, at some point during the production of the film, they got word, I think it was toward the end of the production of the film, they got word that that Paramount decided not to release this in theaters, and they were going to go straight to streaming with it. That decision has never really been given a reason, as far as I'm aware. It was just, hey, we're not going to put this in theaters now, which was a huge blow, at least to me, to go, oh, I can't watch this in theaters. That sucks. And also, like, I can't analyze the viewership numbers. That sucks, because those things are a mystery. And then as you may be aware, a few months ago, the entire film was leaked online. Mm-hmm. And so for those of you who watched it months ago, cool, I can talk to you about it now. And for those who, like me, waited, pat yourselves on the back. You did the right thing. So we can now talk about this legally, but the film itself is now officially released. They bumped the release date up from October to July, I guess just because they were like, it's out there, let's do it. So the whole thing's kind of disappointing, because I would have much preferred this get a actual theatrical release and be a big deal, and like, cool, Avatar's like a big thing now. And
not only that, but just for an animated film, a 2D animated film.
A 2D animated film. Yeah. Like, to be in the theaters would have been phenomenal. And it just kind of sucks. And I don't understand, because you would think that studios would have learned their lesson after a few things. One, it's a popular IP. It should make you money. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, K-pop Demon Hunters proved that there's an appetite for like Eastern flavored storytelling.
Yep.
I don't understand why we're, going, oh, Avatar's not going to sell. I don't know. Or maybe they're
a little busy trying to buy Warner Brothers right now.
It's true. They're not thinking about little old Avatar. But maybe there's not enough marketable stars in it. Like Dave Bautista, you can't just send him to all the press junkets. You got to do all the lesser name actors that make up this cast. So I don't know. I don't really know the reason. But it sucks, because this film is legitimately very good. And I'm very pleased to say that, because I'm a little bit of a diehard of this franchise. Like, I love that original series, and Korra to a lesser degree I like. Don't love. It's just like, eh. And then obviously M. Night ruined the live action adaptation, and Netflix is currently, I've not seen it, so I can't judge it, but from what I understand, it's mixed reviews on their live action series. And so I just really wanted a good win, but I wasn't convinced I was going to get one. So color me surprised. So here's what I'll say, because I know you mentioned recently that you might watch this series. So
I'm going to watch the show.
Okay. So
I have no idea when.
Okay, got it. So I want to keep this vague, but like not too vague.
When I was pulling the trailer earlier, I didn't even look at it. I just looked at the ground.
Yeah,
I don't want to see, just even by vague character design, who survives the series.
Who survives the series? Yeah. It's a good call. Not everybody
does. I do my due diligence. I'm a fucking pro, Dustin.
That's right. So I want to do two things. So one, this is a sequel, but it is also like an Inter-quel. a midquel because it does take place after the original series, but before The Legend of Korra. Okay. So it does have to fit neatly into what The Legend of Korra establishes as canon. And so what's interesting is I've seen The Legend of Korra. My wife has not.
Are you saying they cared about that?
They did care.
Oh my God.
I don't care as much because I don't love Korra. So I hold it very like loosely. It's like open hand grip.
Okay
it's like, it's like, okay, if you contradict it, I'd be like, okay, cool.
I'll just drop this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just drop that. I don't mind. But my wife had never seen Korra. Mm-hmm. So there are things that happen in this film that I kind of expected or saw coming that she didn't. And so it was really interesting to watch that with her because she went in blind. Like she doesn't know. She asked me later, like, you know, if some of the characters ever have kids. She's like, I wonder. And I was like, well, actually, this particular character does have children, and this is their names, and their children have children. And she's like, how do you know all this? And I'm like, because I've seen the sequel show.
How
and
indeed.
So, okay. So what do I think about the film? Like I said, it's a good movie. It's not a perfect movie. It certainly has some areas that ring truer than others. In terms of tonality to the original series, or like just the way that the original series depicts certain things. You know, a big part of Avatar is the spirit world. In the original Avatar, Aang is the Avatar is sort of the like bridge between the physical world and the spirit world. And the spirit world is based, you know, heavily on like Eastern mythology, and also like Studio Ghibli type, you know, like forest nymphs and stuff. And so like Aang is able to meditate and, you know, sort of astral project himself into the spirit world. The Legend of Korra goes a step further and kind of brings the spirit world into like being physical, like somewhere you can physically go. And a lot of people,
Odysseus like sails to hell.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, myself included, kind of felt like, I don't know if that's how I imagined the spirit world.
I want to start a catchphrase now that we've encountered this twice in such short succession.
Yeah.
I would like my catchphrase, oh yeah, it's right over there, to be a thing on this show.
Oh, it's right over there.
Yeah, it's just right over there. Hades, oh yeah, it's right over there. It's like right it's like 100 miles that way.
Yeah, exactly.
The spirit world, oh, it's right over there. You can go there.
Yeah, you can walk on the ground there. This sort of leans closer to what Korra establishes as a spirit world. So if you go straight from seeing The Last Airbender to this, I do think you'll probably be like, whoa. But having seen Korra, it allows like me to accept some things that if I just seen the prequel show, like the original show and this, I might be more hesitant to accept. And I would anticipate that some of the negative reviews that I've seen are people who've done just that. They're not ready to accept what Korra has set up and established. And so when this is sort of set in between, it takes the best of both worlds.
It's a fun little purity test.
Yeah, exactly.
To see who's just complaining and who claims to be a fan.
Who actually cares about this. Yeah. Well, I want to go ahead and talk about that too. So the film has like 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. People really like this movie. However, if you go to YouTube and type Avatar, Aang, The Last Airbender reviews, they're all going to be negative. Everything is going to say, like every thumbnail is going to say, I liked it, but, or I hate this movie. It's so confused, tonally, whatever. This film is woke, whatever
Racist?
It is. Yeah, right. Everything is going to be that. And it really sucks because like, I understand all of those complaints. The complaints generally are this. I'll lay them out for you. Some people think that some of the original characters from the original series get the short straw or whatever, and they don't actually have a whole lot to do here. That's true. The film is 90 minutes. There's a limit to what you can do.
Yeah.
So that is very true. Some people are complaining that the spirit world is depicted too physically. Again, if you've seen Korra, you know that that's kind of the way that it goes. Like that's the trajectory of the franchise, like it or not.
It's
so
canon.
it is canon. I don't love it, but it's canon, so it's fine. They're not breaking their own established rules.
It's like wondering, like, it's like being like, why does Goku have a tail and no one else has a tail? Have you seen Dragon Ball? No.
Well, there you go.
Well,
that would be why.
Pretty important.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't really have to know it, but like if you'd like to know, like don't yell at me. Go watch the original series.
Totally. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Dragon Ball because I thought of that like 8 times during this film.
Yeah.
The animation is very anime inspired in a way that like the original series is anime inspired as well, but it's a very different style of anime.
Yeah, not quite anime.
Yeah, and this moves into that like true super powerful epic anime that like Dragon Ball that IP is. There's a moment where Aang, who is bald and he's like his clothing is ripped in a way that feels very like, oh, this could just be Krillin right now that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And he's wearing orange. Like it feels very like it is what it is. Like there's no getting around it. He's a bald character in an orange gi that gets ripped. I mean, he's going to look like Krillin.
Sure.
But beyond even just that, like there's this idea that feels very like the bending. So the bending of the elements was always very martial arts inspired. It's not like superhero stuff. You're not like telepathically doing this. It's martial arts that's an extension of you. The element becomes an extension of you. And in this, there is a little bit more like superhero-ish element to it. It doesn't feel quite as martial arty. And so to that end, it does sort of remind me of Dragon Ball. The other part that reminds me of Dragon Ball is like, I remember at one point when we were in college asking John and you, like, should I watch the Dragon Ball movies? Because every so often they would release a movie. And I think maybe it was John who said, like, you can, but you don't have to because they're not really like they're only kind of canon, like they are, but they aren't, and they don't really affect the show, and the show doesn't really affect them.
Right.
And that very much reminds me of like Pokemon, right? Like the Pokemon movie is never like that first movie is never really referenced in the series.
Yeah.
And the series isn't really impacting it either. It's just kind of like a standalone thing. And so I think like of our era, anime was that way. It was like the series was a thing, and then the film would come along and you could kind of just miss it and it wouldn't really hurt anything.
Yeah. But now that everything is on streaming and is expected to be viewed in full, there's availability expectations that there weren't then in the 2000s,
Correct. And I would say this veers into that category.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I don't think it's required viewing, and I don't think that it like the series does impact it, but obviously the series is over. So this is going to have no impact moving forward, theoretically. And if that's the case, this feels like a filler episode or like one of those filler movies. It's good. It's fun to watch. You love the characters. It's cool to, spend some time with them on this adventure, but it doesn't feel like it's a part of the thing. And so that is another area where it reminded me of Dragon Ball or those like 90s, 2000s anime kind of things. But it is a good movie. And like I said, the characterization I think is spot on. I've seen some people complaining. Again, they don't have a lot to do, or some of them feel like flanderized. I disagree. I think that the series, like we remember the series as this epic, and as opposed to everything else that was happening on television at the time, and especially on Nickelodeon, this is a series that gave its characters meaningful arcs, so that at the end of the series and the beginning of the series, that character, basically every character is completely different. And that's a beautiful thing. They had time to do that over 3 seasons of 20 episodes or whatever. And they had time to do it well and flesh it all out. You don't have that amount of time. So the characters do get boiled down a little bit. I don't think they're Flanderized though, because there are episodes in which, like, we'll use Sokka, for example. Sokka is a comedic relief character, but he is also a very brave character that learns to, like, what it means to be courageous and how to lead and how to, he learns all of this in the series. But there are still episodes that are just like, where he's comedic, he's leaning comedic. And then there's episodes where he's leaning dramatic. It's a series, right? You have time for that.
Yeah.
In this film, he leans comedic. And so some people are like, he's Flanderized. And I'm like, no, it just harkens back to one of those episodes where he's comedic. Mm-hmm. If they make a sequel to this movie and he leans dramatic, it's not going to feel weird either, because the series did both. And so I'm not mad because in this 90 minutes, we only saw him be funny. That's fine with me. Yeah. He is a funny character. So I actually enjoyed that. I think if I have gripes, the gripes sort of live and die here. Some of the character design feels like too far of a departure from the original series. We mentioned that it feels more like Dragon Ball or like, some sort of more like mature anime or what have you. I think the characters also started losing some of their ethnic features and started adapting or like adopting this look that's more like nondescript, like some anime. It's just like eyes, nose, and mouth, but from where it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And so some of those characters suffer from that, some of the designs. But I'll let that go. I would let that go if the voices were better. And here's what I mean by that. The performances are all great. In fact, I want to specifically call out here, I think his name is Eric Nam. I'm going to pull this back up. Yeah, Eric Nam is the new voice of Aang. And I want to shout him out because he does a great job in this voicing an adult Aang. Aang was prepubescent in the series, so you can have him with a different voice in this film. Totally fine by me. It also feels weird to talk about these characters as having whether or not they've gone through puberty. I'm going to not do that because that's weird. But what I am going to say is, like, Aang was 12, having a new voice at 27 or whatever, totally fine with me. Some of the other characters who were like 16, I think their voices should be done by the original actors. And none of the original actors came back for this film. Now, that was done on purpose. The idea was that the actors that they would cast now are more in line with the ethnic or racial background of the characters. And I totally support that. I also think it's a little bit, it just is a little bit sad that I don't get to hear those voices that I love so much, that I associate with these characters. So it's a double-edged sword, because I love that decision, but I also lament what we've lost, which is there are times in this where a character begins speaking, before before the camera cuts to them, and I'm like, I don't know who's talking. You have to show me, because it's the voice I'm not used to, right? So the actors all do a really great job. I'll also call out I think it's Roman Zargoza, who voices Sokka. He does a great job. He's channeling the original actor, Jack DeSena, but it sort of making it his own, but he gets really close to it. And then Diane Kwan voices the new version of Toph, and she does a great job as well. But having said that, these characters sound different. And especially someone like Zuko, who in the original series is voiced by Dante Bosco, has a very distinct voice, a very distinct tone, a very distinct affect to his voice. And here is voiced by Steven Yeun. Love Steven Yeun. He can do anything. But it is weird to hear that voice coming out of that character. That character was 16, 17 in the original series. He should have retained his original voice. And so to me, like, that is the biggest gripe I have with the film. It again is a double-edged sword, because I know, like, I understand the reasoning and I don't want to take that away, but I also almost wish there was like an additional audio track that you could turn on as a special feature and like listen to the original cast. That would be dope. And, whatever. I also want to call out, there are some bigger names in the film. So Dave Bautista obviously is Taga. Ke Kwan has a role in this. Frida Pinto, Taika Waititi. There are some names, but they all play very small, like one scene type roles. So yeah, the voice cast is great. The performances are great. The visuals are beautiful. Like, this is some of the best looking animation I've seen in a long time. The backgrounds are beautiful. Again, like, I have no complaints really visually. It's great to look at. The music is by Jeremy Zuckerman, who came back from the original series. And I've been listening to the album on repeat. It's great. It's so well done. Love the music here. The story's a little thin. But I'll forgive it because it's also very emotional. Now, is it emotional if you haven't watched the original series? I don't know. But I got emotional no less than 4 times in this film. Didn't cry, but when those end credits hit, I stood up and Sarah literally just goes, "Just let it out." And I was like, I'm about to. And then I knocked over my drink and it spilled on the carpet, and then that ruined the moment. But I might have. It may be a thin story, but it is emotional. It's the animation, the acting, the music, all working together to really produce something that's special and affecting. And, really what this story deals with is the erasure of one individual's culture. And that's a big thing. And it's an emotional thing. The idea that Aang is the last Airbender is that if he dies, his culture is completely lost to time. That's a huge weight for a singular person to bear. How do you preserve an entire culture by yourself? And so it is emotional. And there are moments where we get flashbacks to, moments that happened in the original series era. And those are emotional too. If some of it, like, I don't think it ever feels like member berries. It's purposeful character that you need in order to feel the things you're feeling. Now, it is built with the assumption that you've seen the original. They're not like, they're not trying to appease somebody who's never seen it, although there is a recap. But it doesn't, like, they're writing it with the assumption that all of this. But it's important to be reintroduced to like what Aang lost when his culture died. And so you see these things, these moments that would have happened in the original series that we just never saw. And they are emotional. They are affecting. It doesn't feel manipulative. The last thing I'll say, there are member berries in the film, and your mileage will vary on those. There are characters that pop up in the background. There's characters that, or places that they go and things that, and it's like, oh, yeah, I remember that. And your mileage will vary on those. Some of them are interesting, some of them less so. And then there are like lines of dialogue that are direct callbacks to the original series. And again, your mileage will vary. I think most of them work. There's maybe 2 moments that I was like, I could have done without that one. But it's fine. And like, I sit here, like Sarah asked me after, she was like, so what's the critique? Like, I know you've got something to say. And I was like, really and truly, I don't. Like, I feel like it's a great movie. I'm glad to have seen it. I'm I would be proud to own it and say this is a good companion to the original series. It is not perfect like the original series is, but it is really good. And it doesn't break canon. It doesn't break anything. So I'm totally okay with it. Maybe it's a little too safe, but I'm totally fine with safety because this is like a reintroduction. It's a little bit like, now that I say it, everyone's complaints of like The Force Awakens being very safe.
Yeah.
It's very much like that.
Sure.
Although The Force Awakens was trying to like undo a bunch of bad movies, this isn't necessarily trying to undo anything, but it is like playing it safe in a sandbox that's well worn, and that's totally fine. And if there are more movies, sure, they can take big swings. But for now, I'm totally fine with it as is, as this, as what it is. Again, like all the things I've mentioned, the voices, whatever, there are certainly things that I would have done differently. But at the end of the day, I had a really good time. I felt something. It was really, really good to be reunited with these characters, and in a way that's like honoring of the original series. I guess my biggest complaint, other than the voices, is it should have been longer. Like, yeah, a 2-hour movie would have been fine. Like add another half hour to it, but maybe like make it an 8-episode miniseries, bring it back to a series thing. Yes, you lose the budget, but like, man, it would have been great. Like, again, it's just great to see these characters, and any second I get to spend with them is fantastic. I've even read some of the comics and they're great. Like, I love these characters to death, and I love Aang to death. And this movie does really right by Aang. And that's all it had to do. Like, you could have cut all the other characters out and they could have been in one scene at the beginning and one scene at the end, and the whole movie's Aang, and I still would have been happy. I probably would have said, man, I wish I'd had more from the other ones. But it's fine because I had Aang, and he felt like Aang, and he sounded like Aang, and he moved like Aang, and that works. Because he looks like Aang and sounds like Aang and moves like Aang, to me, this is a high recommend. I really enjoyed it. For you, Hooper, who might one day watch the series, here's my recommendation. Watch the series and give it a break. Don't go right in to this from that. Wait a month and then do it. You know what I mean? Like let the series settle and then move into it. Because I think if you go straight in, I do think it'll feel jarring, just in like that one's 4:3 for a 2005 CRT TV, and the other is CinemaScope and animated beautifully and on a budget that's crazy, as opposed to the TV show for what it was. I think it would be jarring to go back to back, but give it a break, cleanse your palate, come back to it. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a great companion piece, like I said. Is it required viewing? No. But is it really fun? Yeah. And as a fan of DBZ, I actually think you'll dig it. So, that because it's clearly inspired by DBZ. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Not perfect, but well worth your time. And honestly, in an age where we're rebooting and sequelizing everything, and almost all of them suck. And you go, why was this even made? Now I just have something I have to ignore. It's cool to see one that you don't have to ignore. You can, but you don't have to. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with this one. I recommend it. It's great. And if you get a chance to see it in theaters, I know I maybe it's still in limited. I'm not sure when that happens or happened. But if you have a chance to see it in theaters, see it in theaters. Otherwise, if you have Paramount Plus, put it on. And then put it on a few more times in the background while you clean for the views. Give them the analytics that they want. And that's Avatar: Aang, The Last Airbender. The show is a perfect show. Please watch it. And then, maybe watch this one too.
I have no notes.
Yeah. It's now the background on my phone. It's great. It reached that level status.
There you go. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.